Welcome to the Sandro channel. Make sure that you subscribe. Hey folks, Sandro here with more cartoon news and shenanigans, and today I'm going to be talking about and doing a brief review of the Cuphead show season 3. I am very sad. Now that I've seen all of the episodes of season 3, it very much looks like this show is going to indeed be ending at season 3. I did talk about this a little bit a few weeks ago, where there was definitely some indications that this was going to be the last season, and now it seems very likely that Netflix is just giving it the axe here at season 3. Obviously, Cuphead is a hand-drawn show. The amount of money it takes to do hand-drawn animation is bananas, and of course, don't forget how much time it takes to draw it all out, as opposed to doing digital and such. So this one was, just the fact that this show existed in the first place, I'm just like so grateful. I'm so grateful it existed. I had a lot of fun with Cuphead as a whole show. I am going to give it a rating overall as a show of 8 out of 10. I thought it was very solid. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I really found it enjoyable. I will be talking about some brief spoilers here, but yeah, it does look like the show is going to be ending, so I guess I'll start with the ending of the show. I'll start with the very ending. So the reason, I guess one of the best reasons that we can indicate here that the show is probably done here at season 3 is that the show came full circle. So the first episode of the show, we see Cuphead wagering his soul by playing in the carnival game, right? The devil set up a carnival game, and anybody who played it would lose their soul. Cuphead ends up winning like a madman, and he doesn't lose his soul, and that's how we start the entire adventure, right? The devil is trying to always get Cuphead's soul, and he just ends up duking it out with Cuphead and Mugman in a bunch of episodes. This season, I personally think was the absolute best season because we actually saw a lot of the devil. One of the issues that like the first 2 seasons had, in my opinion, was that we focused a lot on these like filler episodes that really didn't tie into much, like I didn't care much for a lot of the filler episodes of this show. Like they're still enjoyable to watch. It's just like a lot of them were just kind of bad and iffy, or they weren't that funny. Like I'm watching this show, I'm seeing these smiling characters here. I was hoping to get a good laugh, but a lot of the episodes were just kind of, I don't want to say boring. They were just kind of okay. They didn't make me laugh. They didn't do anything clever or like something I haven't seen before. A lot of the episodes were just very okay, or sometimes they were pretty quality and they had some good jokes in there or whatever, or a good storyline. There was a couple episodes that had really good storylines. I think my favorite episode of the whole show was the pirate one where they decide to be pirates. They jump on a pirate's ship. And I can't remember the name of it, Captain something. Was it Captain Blackbeard? I can't remember. But yeah, the pirate episode where they go to see that like Medusa creature in the water, and he has a crush on her, and that was probably the best episode right there of the whole season. That episode, the pirate episode, absolutely number 1 in my opinion. As for this season, like I said, it was a step above the other seasons because it had the devil multiple times, right? This is what we wanted to see. With the first season, like we got a couple, like maybe 2-3 episodes with the devil. Season 2, again, same situation, 2-3 episodes of the devil. And also King Dice, right? King Dice voiced by Wayne Brady, which is one of my favorite, comedians, I would call him. If you guys have ever seen Whose Line Is It Anyway? What a great show. Colin Mockery, Drew Carey, Ryan Stiles. That is such a good show. You guys should go watch Whose Line Is It Anyway? It's a classic for the ages. But yeah, to see Wayne Brady come back as King Dice, I was so happy to see that. He did a great job, but he barely ever appeared. He was in like 4 or 5 episodes where he had like a speaking role where the episode was actually focusing on him. He barely appeared throughout this entire show. That's one of the biggest criticisms I have, is that we barely got to see any King Dice, and even the devil himself, who was supposed to be the main villain, was very scarce in this show until the 3rd season, where we did get a lot more of him, which was really good. The 3rd season was fantastic because we did get to see Chalice's backstory, where we find out that she was an orphan who was living in a terrible orphanage, and then she eventually gets hit by was it a trolley car or something like that? She gets hit by a car. Let's just call it a car or a tram. Was it a tram? I don't know. She was dancing on the street. She gets hit and she dies and loses her soul. And the final episode, we got a resolution. That was the explanation why she was a ghost. But interestingly enough, they said she got her soul back by the end, right? The big finale of the big episode was that, she wanted to prove she was the best dancer in the whole world. She does end up, well, she kind of loses, actually. Yeah. She would have won, but because Cuphead gave her some marbles, she does end up losing that. Although I did think her dancing was better than the Devil's, I'll say that much. And so I think she should have won there. She ends up getting cheated by the marbles. But in the end, Cuphead ends up using rock, paper, scissors to save the day and gives Chalice her soul back. But the thing that I was wondering is, sure, Chalice has her soul back, but can she still turn into a ghost? Because the devil gave her that power, right? The devil basically gave her the power to turn into a ghost. Like, she's like, you could turn back into, even though you're a soul, you could turn back into, your regular form, your cup form. But like, does she still retain the power to turn back into a soul? Or is this a situation where she got her soul back so she can no longer use that ability? I don't know. But that would, if the show ever comes back for a season 4, that's one of the things I would really like answered. Maybe she dies again, and then that would be really cool. In the future season, maybe she dies a second time by getting hit by a car, and she dies, but then realizes, oh wait, she's immortal now because maybe because the devil gave her back her soul, and she still had the soul powers in her. Maybe she's just an immortal being now that can never die, kind of like Skips from a regular show. Yeah, that'd be cool, right? Miss Chalice, just unkillable. That would be a really, really interesting twist for the show if it ever comes back for season 4. And the only other thing I could think of, where could we even go with a season 4? There's 2 things where we could go with this. The first one is the Chef Salt Baker. Chef Salt Baker. This is this character. He's sort of the big boss of the final DLC, the Delicious Last Course, right? DLC, Delicious Last Course. That's what DLC stands for in Cuphead time. But this could be a great setup for like a sequel series, right? That would be the best thing. If they don't make a season 4, maybe someday in the future they'll come back and call it they'll literally just take the DLC name and call it Cuphead, the Delicious Last Course. Maybe it won't be on Netflix. Maybe it'll be on a different streaming service. But it'd probably have to be on Netflix, I guess, right? Because Netflix did change like some of the character designs around from the original game. So yeah, they probably do it on Netflix and reprise all the voice actors and stuff. But this is one direction they could go with, where Chef Saltbaker is the final villain of a future season or future seasons. Or the other thing that we could go down the road here is the Baroness. Okay, now this is like the only open plot thread that we just never concluded here. In that episode, and this is also one of my favorite episodes of the whole show too, by the way. The Baroness here, Baroness von Bonbon. Yes, she basically says toodaloo after Cuphead leaves the candy world. Was it called Candyland? It might have been called Candyland. After Cuphead leaves the sort of Candyland here, she basically is like caught exactly right here. She's like, you'll be back. They always come back. And she's like, toodaloo. And so I was thinking, okay, is this a setup for a future season where maybe the devil is pushed to the side and Baroness slowly starts taking over the world by transforming everybody into candy? I thought that this could be a setup for a future season, maybe. If the show ever comes back, I'd really like to see this character go full evil and take the main villain spot from the devil for a while. Although the devil is the main villain, so he should always be there in some form or fashion. But yeah, it'd be funny if she just turned the devil into candy and took his power and took his pitchfork. Yeah, the rules of the pitchfork. We learned the rules of the pitchfork were, finders keepers. So whoever gets the pitchfork gets to keep it. Or you have to make a deal. You have to make a deal with them to revert ownership. So that's really cool. We could see a situation like that. Maybe she makes a deal with the devil and steals his pitchfork or whatever. This could be a secondary antagonist for a future season, uh, assuming we ever get one. Because, like I said, the show looks like it's going to be ending at season 3, which is a real shame because this is one of Netflix's best shows of all time. My major issue with this season, like I said, everything was pretty good here. Were there some filler episodes? Was the Christmas episode was actually kind of bad. The Christmas episode, so first they did a very short episode where like Cuphead and Mugman, they have to go to Pork Rind and buy a Christmas tree for $5, even though they're 10. They end up spending the whole episode just going around the whole forest. They find the perfect tree, and even though the tree gets destroyed, it magically, bursts back into full pieces. I don't understand. The tree, like, at some point, like, got really destroyed, but then they go and set it up in their living room and it's back to normal and it's like perfect again. Like, I just didn't understand what they were doing with that episode, but it was a very bad Christmas episode, and the tree does get burned at the end, but luckily they saved themselves because there was 2 Christmas episodes and there was a second one that was much longer where the devil, I think that episode was like half an hour long. That episode showed Santa Claus, who also has his own stickler, which was very funny. It showed Santa Claus and the devil basically has to take the role of Santa Claus for Christmas, and he gets on the nice list and gets a choo-choo. Well, although he didn't get it for himself, his little minion there made it for him. But, he still gets a choo-choo in the end. So it all worked out when you really think about it. But yeah, that was probably one of the highlights. So the first Christmas episode with Cuphead and his family was really bad. But then the episode with the devil and meeting Santa Claus and becoming Santa Claus was actually really good. So it kind of evens out. But that first Christmas episode was god awful. I was like, God, I was falling asleep during that one. So that's that. That was one of my bigger criticisms of the show. Just that. Oh, sorry. My biggest criticism of the show was not that Christmas episode. But I mean, that one was bad. But the biggest thing I had issue with was the cliffhanger from season 2. They made it seem like, oh my God, Mugman is trapped in hell. Like, what are we gonna do? I thought they were gonna spend like half the season rescuing Mugman from the devil. First episode, they already rescue him. Mugman isn't even concerned. They make a bet, between the main minion and the devil. They have like a bet that he can break Mugman by the end of the day. And, basically Cuphead ends up rescuing him in just a single episode. And that's that. All the big cliffhanger of season 2 resolved in literally one episode. So I was a little bit annoyed by that. I wanted there to be a big rescue, or, maybe Cuphead actually has to rely on some of his friends like Elder Kettle. And what was that guy's name? Bowl Boy. His head is in the shape of a bowl boy. I wanted some of the side characters to come together and make some kind of like, special heist team, like Ocean's 11. It would have been cool if they did like an Ocean's 11 parody where it took them like 3 episodes to break into hell and just, get Mugman back. Also, like literally hell was just in a cliff. Like, you could just walk to hell. That's what we learned this season, which is really stupid because they always show like a magic elevator that you have to take, like a magic elevator. Turns out you could just walk there, and it's in walking reach too. It's pretty nuts. They were able to just like walk out of hell and return back to their home, and I thought that was stupid. I thought that was really piss poor writing, and I did not like that. You could just casually open the door to hell and walk out. Very bananas. And so overall, a pretty good season. I did like the devil. The devil was absolutely the highlight of the season. I wish we got more King Dice. And overall, a very clean season. Like I said, so this season, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 for this season. But for the overall show, I think I'll give it a solid 8 out of 10 because it was pretty quality. It had some bad episodes here and there that stopped me from giving it like a 9. I don't think the show is a 10. I don't think the writing here was a 10 out of 10 masterpiece level, but it was still a really good show. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Are you sad that this is probably going to be the very end of Cuphead at season 3? I do want to hear all your thoughts down below. Please like, please share, please comment down below. Like I said, subscribe, and why not watch an ad for your boy Sandro? Thank you guys so much. Have a great evening, and goodbye.